Hi there, I'm Tyler. I'm the CEO of Seller Accountant. And I was going to see if I could get your help with some research that my company does each year. So each of the last, this is going to be the third. So each of the last 2 years, Seller Accountant has executed a benchmarking study, an aggregate study for Amazon sellers. And what we try to do is grab as much kind of anonymous financial data as we can. Now, if you're already a Seller Accountant customer, we have the ability to get that data through the back end and have it be completely anonymous. So don't worry about this video if you're already a customer. But for other folks that want to get to the bottom of questions like, how profitable actually are these marketplace-based businesses? Seller Accountant works really hard to get hard data, not cocktail party data where someone talks about how much they sold last year, but what the real profitability was. And so I need your help. Last year, we had about $150 million represented in the study. And just to give you a quick peek at what the averages looked like for the 2019 data that we grabbed a year ago, the average seller that participated was about $2 million. You can see cost of goods sold, gross profit, advertising, and yielding about a 23.5% post-advertising gross profit. There's some overhead and about 11.5 points in operating profit. What we want to do is take this to the next level here using your most recent data, the 2020 financial data. And so I was going to ask you if you would be willing to just anonymously add your stuff. You're going to give me an email for no other reason that if you choose to participate, I'm going to give you first access to the study once it's done. And we already have about $190 million in 2020 data in the study. And so if you're happy to help us, we would really appreciate it. Click on the link to the Google form and just fill out the survey really quickly. And then in a month or so, when we finish it, we're going to send you the full report with not just how things have changed from the stuff you're looking at the screen now, because they have changed. It's really, really fascinating how much the average seller has actually grown, the mix of Amazon versus non-Amazon sales, and some of the profitability metrics have changed. I can't wait to share it with you, and I'd love to include your data in it. So you can end this video now if you feel good about that. But if you want help walking through the actual survey, I'm going to take the next minute and just walk you through what it would look like if you were to click on the Google form, in case the way we define certain terms is different than the way you defined it. So let me dive in. So you're going to give us your email address. You're going to give us just your first name. I don't want your company. I don't want to be able to attach this financial data to your company. So it's anonymous in that sense. I don't even need your last name, but I just need an email address. It could be your personal, whatever you want to do, so that I can send you the results. You're going to either identify as a reseller or as more of a private label kind of company. If you're anything related to selling your own brand, go ahead and put private label. If you're reselling or wholesaling, then I would go reseller. And then the first blank, and I might have my team bold this before I send it out to you, but this is the prior year sales. We want to see how much you grew. So what were your total net sales for the year 2019? So this is just an example P&L. You have Amazon, you might have Amazon International, you might have Shopify, and you might have some wholesale income. But that on your QuickBooks Online, that total income number that happens right before your cost of goods sold, what I first want is that number for the year 2019. Put that here. And then when you look into 2020 data, which is the real meat of this year's study, we're going to ask you for Amazon.us. So if we again look at this particular seller, you can see Amazon.us minus the refunds essentially gives us 582 for Amazon US. Put that data here. Amazon International, he had a little bit of sales there. We happen to sell wholesale in Walmart or some other channels for this particular seller. And then what was the grand total, which you can actually see at the bottom of my screen here, for all of your kind of net sales for the year 2020. Put that data point here. And now product cost of goods sold. So if you're doing accounting the way Seller Accountant does it, this is the 5,000. This is literally what I had to purchase, my factory invoice. If you might load duties and freight, that's fine. But whatever your definition of inventory sold, we're going to talk about Amazon fees in a minute, right? But for right now, this product cost for this particular seller is about $225,000. And Amazon commissions. So this is all of your channel fees related to Amazon. Now for Seller Accountant, we tend to put these in two different buckets. We have FBA fees and commissions. I would add these two numbers together, please. And so, the 90 plus the 70 is 160. I'm just rounding here because I'm making this quick. And then what was your total gross profits? This is going to help us make sure, however you define any other adjustments, any other cogs that you tend to load in there, we want your total bottom line GP number. And then now we're asking you to ignore, to not have advertising in there, okay? So, and then we're going to talk about advertising specific to Amazon and then advertising off of Amazon. And then if you look at your total expenses, so really what we're grabbing here from these clients is total sponsored product. And play along with me here because I know not all the categories line up here, but if there was any other marketing, which really DSP you could argue is Amazon, but I'm going to put this as the other advertising. And then total expenses, again, if you're a QBO user, you're going to scroll down to the bottom and you're going to be able to see, total expenses here of 171,000. That's going to grab kind of your salaries and everything. It's going to include those advertising dollars we just captured. That's okay. We just want to be able to do the math to determine what else is left. And then you're going to answer a few more questions. So I really want to say thank you so much for filling this out. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email. We're glad to clarify. Once you hit submit, it's going to automatically book your stuff, and then you're going to have an email here in a few weeks with we'll probably go ahead and pretty soon send you last year's study so that you see not just the total, but how it relates in different categories. And then once we complete this year's study, we'll be really happy to share it with you. Again, thank you so much for your help. This is really meaningful to us, and it can help us give you some true insight into how you're performing relative to the industry. Again, thank you and have a wonderful day.